Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here on Sunday the 7th of October. Just a quick update for you, just looking at some of the details of what looks like an extreme rainfall event across the West Highlands. It's all starting today really as persistent straight line southwesterly winds take aim at the western mountains and the moist warm sector, and then a waving front that moves in will just add up the rainfall totals that will be pretty relentless over the next couple of days. The fronts waving from sort of north to south, so the intensity of the rain moving around slightly, but nevertheless some heavy torrential falls at times over those western mountains are to be expected. If we just run through the synoptic charts into Monday and Tuesday, you'll see how a long trailing front on southwesterly winds focuses in across Scotland. Very little rain reaching the eastern side of the Highlands, but across western mountains, all the way from Loch Lomond up to about Wester Ross, it will be raining much of the time. And by Tuesday, that frontal wave looks focused a bit further north by that stage, but just continuing to rain across many of those western mountains. It's a story that was starting to show itself at the end of last week if you were watching the planning video, and gradually as the high-resolution computer models have come on board, we can see that it's now very likely to be a major rainfall event across the West Highlands. If we just run on the sequence over a couple of days, you'll see how the rain over, this is in 3-hour steps, hardly lets up across the West Highlands. The wave of a front just runs southwards briefly tonight, but during Monday daytime it piles back in, so further pulses of heavy rain will sweep in for many hours to the Western Highlands. This is late Monday, running on into the early hours of Tuesday. Some heavy and prolonged falls there across most of the Western Highlands. Tuesday daytime running on, and only as we get towards late Tuesday into the early hours of Wednesday does that front begin to weaken and then push slowly away towards the north. Now this chart shows you total rainfall through until Wednesday, and don't worry about trying to see the numbers, they're all very jumbled together, but the general story is that across a broad catchment of the West Highlands, those high rainfall totals will mount up. 200 mil, 250 mil is picked out even by the modelling, and bearing in mind this only has a moderate understanding of the topography, we could easily find some spot rainfall totals over 2 or 3 days up to 400 or 500 mil. So widespread flooding is likely. Burns quickly in spate. Some of the larger river systems in the Western Highlands likes to flood low-lying ground, extensively flooding, I would have thought. And even some of the rivers that head out eastwards towards the eastern side of the Highlands, the Tay, the Spey, and even maybe rivers out towards Inverness will rise as the overspill of those catchments pours into eastern systems. The actual rainfall totals for the East Highlands very small indeed, mostly just spots in the wind coming across the Highlands. So if you're around the Cairngorms, Deeside, Glenshee, you'll see very little, but some of those river systems that do move eastwards will rise nevertheless. So it's not one to underestimate if you are in the West or Northwest Highlands, even the Central Highlands over the next few days. This is expected to be a major rainfall event. Stay right up to date every day with all the local forecasts on the Mountain Weather Information Service website. We'll have the next planning video online for you as well on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.